Okay, so just a quick studio update. There's my old rack, and it's really, really tall, but the rack strip only goes from the top down to there, and then the rest of the rack all the way to the floor doesn't have rack strip. Okay, now I thought, shall I use this rack and buy extra rack strip for it, or shall I instead use the really, really nice studio rack that if you look on our channel you can see a video where I got this free from Air Studios, and they gave me this rack, they were throwing it out. So this is a really high quality studio rack, and the rack strip goes all the way from the floor right to the top of it. So there's more rack strip in this from the get-go. But the thing is, it's not very tall compared to my old rack. And the other thing is, this is one of the horizontal beams that connects the front of the rack to the back of the rack, and it's 70 something centimetres long. So if I use these original horizontal beams, they will make the depth of the rack as it should be with these beams that came with it. So that means the rack from front to back is going to be that deep, that much deeper, yeah, sticking out from the wall that much further, look, than the original rack. And it's sticking into the room way too much, so I can't use those horizontals. So what I've done is I've bought 4 bits of steel from the metal store in Manchester. There's another one which I've taken out of the pack already. Okay, this has to be cleaned because it's fresh from being cut, so it's really dirty. Has to be cleaned. The swarf has to be filed off because there's razor sharp flash around the cutting surfaces where it was cut, the surfaces where it was cut. Then it has to be drilled to fit the bolt holes on the top of the Air Studios rack here. Okay, and then finally painted. And then we can connect the front of the rack to the back of the rack using these much shorter 38 centimetre long horizontals. And then the rack will only be a total of 46 centimetres from front to back, which is the same as the old rack, so it won't stick out from the wall any further than the old rack. Okay, so the first thing is I've got a new file here, and we're going to get rid of all that dangerous sharp swarf from where the steel was cut on each end of these 4 pieces of tubing. Let's get that done first. Okay, there they are. All that nasty sharp swarf has been taken out of each end with the file, and I've given it a clean to get all that oily, greasy dirt off, and they're reasonably nice and clean now. Okay, so the next bit is the hard bit. All 4 of these have to have the 2 holes accurately drilled right the way through the box section at each end of each of these pieces of steel. Okay, let's see how we get on. Okay, that's the first set of holes drilled. Hopefully it's going to be pretty straight through there and out the other side. Okay, now let's I'm going to try actually connect. I'll file the swarf off that, the sharp bits of edge, and then I'm going to try connecting it up with some bolts to see how it works. Okay, all right, let's just get it cleaned up. Okay, there she is in place. There's the T5 bolts, washers and nuts. Let's try connecting one up. Okay, well, we're rocking and rolling because that is absolutely rigid. That really is. Fantastic. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, that's not going anywhere. Give it a, you know. And it's not fully tightened yet. I can get it a little bit tighter than that, but I don't want to overdo it and strip the nut. Okay, so yeah, we're good to go. So I'll just repeat this process at the other end of this piece of steel, and then do the same to the other 3 pieces, and then we can connect the front of the rack to the back of the rack, and we will have a new rack, which is only about 46 centimetres deep. Fantastic. Let me get on with it. There it is, all built. Nice and solid, really solid. And it's from front to back now, from front to back, or from back to front, whichever way around you want it. It's nice and narrow now, so it's going to be the same depth as that rack, and it can replace that one. Okay, so there we go. That's that. In fact, I'm thinking I might not paint these side bars because they actually look quite nice in raw steel against the sort of computer creamy coloured things. But maybe I will. We'll see.